medical devices have a little bit of a unique challenge because they have to get through FDA. There are other regulatory compliance challenges, things like ULFCC, but I'll focus just on what we're talking about today, which is FDA. And what I would recommend to mitigate the risk of let's say, failing an FDA audit or FDA requirements would be starting with getting a regulatory strategy in place early. So understand, what is the product? Do you have the right product documentation? Do you understand what type of product it is? Is it class, the class of product? Is it a class 1, class 2, class 3? And then if possible, identify a clear predicate that you can submit to the FDA so that you don't have to do a greenfield, what's called a PMA, which takes a lot more time and money. Some devices can, some devices can't, but in my experience, most devices will have some kind of a predicate that you can follow. So versus a new submission. The other would be to prior to submitting to FDA, do what's called a pre-submission check. So have somebody that understands what the FDA is going to be looking for, and then have internal resources do an internal check before you actually submit to FDA. So you actually prepare before and lower the risk of them really finding any issues, right? And then the final recommendation would be to have actually a pre-sub call with the FDA. So once you've done your internal checks and you're confident that your product is in a good form and your documentation is in a good form, then you want to actually talk to the FDA prior to the formal submission and make sure they understand what you're submitting. My recommendation is you don't want to leave it very open-ended. You want to be very clear with what you're presenting, so they're not making you change things. And then understanding, are they going to approve or not approve, or what recommendations they have, very specific to what you're applying for. And companies that follow this, I've seen, generally have a faster approval process, as well as get through it with less investment as part of that process.